So what can we do about protecting ourselves against enumeration or from enumeration? When it comes to email, I touched on the fact that modern email servers will silently ignore unknown recipients. If you are running some older software, take a look at configuration options to silently ignore, as well as disable those verbs that can reveal information, such as verify or expand. Disable relay for other domains. Again, newer software packages won't do this out of the box, but older software would, in that you could send a message to an SMTP server and say, deliver this message to this other SMTP server. Open relays, if you search Google for open SMTP relay, you'll find quite a few hits of directories, and those are the hosts that are accepting and relaying spam from the spammers that are out there. When it comes to LDAP, authenticate queries to only domain users. So if a query is coming in, it should be from a known valid authenticated user. Use secure LDAP and disable file and printer sharing. Newer versions of Windows have this concept of network locations, home, public, and you can change based on network location whether or not file and printer sharing is enabled. So take a look at if you're in an enterprise and have some control over group policy, see what you can do about enabling, disabling file and printer sharing using group policy when at work or not. For DNS, disable zone transfer if it's not already done. Just make sure that it is. Use split DNS. I touched on this in a previous lesson, but the concept here is you have a DNS server that's available to the public internet and then one on the inside. The internal DNS is for resolving internal names to internal IP addresses, and the external is for resolving your publicly accessible information. When you go to, say, GoDaddy and you register your famous.com, don't use a personal name in there, because that's just another method of getting information for footprinting. Use some sort of support email address, such as abuse@famous.com. For SNMP, just like ICMP, there could be arguments on both sides of the fence as to whether or not SNMP use should be allowed. I'm on the side of the fence that says absolutely, simply because the amount of information that it provides. However, some recommendations: use version 3 with encryption and authentication, change from public and private community strings. Whatever you've installed, if it doesn't need to run SNMP and it is, then turn it off.